This is just a simple overview of the very complicated complement system that many doctors do not understand. It can be triggered by repeated mRNA injections, and this can lead to myocarditis. The complement system is part of your innate immune system because you were born with it. It is about 15 quintillion proteins of 30 different varieties that are circulating in your bodily fluids at all times. It reacts to infections of viruses, bacteria, and other organisms. It does not protect you from infections. It can directly react to bacteria without involving antibodies. But viruses are different. It requires the presence of antibodies to react to viruses. So here's the problem. Chronic infections or subsequent jabs are going to bring in more unexpected antigens, and these are going to trigger the existing antibodies to activate what is called the complement cascade. It can directly destroy organisms or cells by forming holes in their membranes. This is called the membrane attack complex. It always starts with changing the configuration of one protein and then cascading the cleavage of others, and this is called the cascade. It is highly inflammatory, and it can injure normal tissue cells. Now, there are various named pathways that can start the cleavage of all of these various proteins that you see here. This will start the cascade that always has the same end result, the membrane attack complex that will destroy the virus, the bacteria, other organisms, or even normal body cells that are nearby, and that is what is so dangerous about it. So here are the four pathways: the classical, the lectin, the alternative, and the C3 independent. They are distinct because of where in the chain of events the cascade starts. Basically, the lectin, alternative, and C3 independent pathways do not involve antibodies. The C3 protein can be cleaved by reacting to something directly on the surfaces of the bacteria or other large organisms and start that cascade way down here. Now, the C3 independent pathway can start the cascade even further along, right down here at the C5 protein. This allows the immune system to react very quickly when there is an invasion of bacteria or other larger organisms. But this quick reaction does not happen with invasion of virus particles. That involves the classical pathway that requires antibodies, specifically IgG and IgM antibodies that have already been created and are already attached to the virus. And this is called the antigen-antibody complex, but it is more involved than just this simple interaction with complement proteins, because you do not want this inflammatory cascade activated when it shouldn't be. Here is how it is more involved than just a simple interaction with antibodies and antigens. It takes two antibodies bound to the antigen in close proximity to one another on that antigen-antibody complex. In this case, the antigen is the spike glycoprotein that was created from the mRNA in the shot. Yes, more than one antibody can attach to different parts or epitopes of the spike protein. That will change the shapes of the tails of the Y-shaped antibodies and allow the C1 complement protein to bind to them. And that starts the whole cascade of events that will create the membrane attack complex involving cells that are either making the spike protein or have the spike protein attached to them. Now, some proteins that are further down the cascade can end up attaching to normal cells nearby and cause them to die as well. That is why you do not want this system activated when it doesn't need to be. It is inflammatory and destructive. It is multiple mRNA shots that are causing this in some people. And here's why. When you get that first shot of mRNA, your body is going to make spike proteins. The immune system will react to that by creating antibodies against them, and that is normal. It is also normal for those antibodies to decrease in number over time. If we kept every antibody we ever made, our blood would be sludge, too thick to pump. So it is the memory to quickly remake antibodies that is important, not the numbers of them floating around in your blood and lymph. So complete idiots like Fauci will say, oh, look, your antibody levels have dropped. You need to boost those back up again to protect yourself from severe symptoms when you get infected. That is the most dangerous thing that you could ever do, and here's why. When you get that subsequent mRNA shot, or even one of those shots if you are naturally infected, it contains more lipid nanoparticles that your immune system does not react to. It doesn't see them because they are made of normal body fats. They were designed that way so that they hide the message to make the spike protein inside of them. So when you get that subsequent shot of lipid nanoparticles, they are going to do exactly what they did before. The lipid nanoparticles are going to merge with any and all cells in your body and start cranking out more spike proteins by the billions. Now your immune system can see the spike protein and react to it. It can't see them until they get made because the message to make them is hidden inside of the lipid nanoparticles. Your immune system already dealt with that spike protein, you see. It has the memory to quickly remake antibodies and prevent this from happening. That's the whole idea of antibodies, right? They are supposed to bind to the antigen and neutralize it, lessening the severity of the infection. But all of a sudden, here we have billions of spike proteins showing up in your body when they shouldn't be showing up. So now the antibodies that you already have, or the memory to quickly remake them, will start binding to the spike protein. This can cause the antigen-antibody complexes to activate the classical pathway of the complement system. Numerous immune cells will be attracted to cells of the body that are either making the spike protein or have the spike protein attached. This is hyperinflammatory, involving a lot of cytokines, and it will result in significant tissue damage. It can be all over the body, and that is called multi-inflammatory syndrome. Multi-inflammatory syndrome was listed as an adverse event of special interest before the shot even rolled out. Think about that. And when it happens in the heart specifically, myocarditis can be the result, also identified as an adverse reaction of special interest. Myocarditis can disrupt the normal flow of electrical activity in the heart and can, in some cases, end up causing sudden, unexpected cardiac failure. It is called sudden and unexpected because there are no symptoms until the event happens. This is happening to children on soccer fields and pilots in control of passenger jets. So we need to start looking for asymptomatic myocarditis in pilots before a disaster happens. If you're interested in learning more about this or other parts of the innate immune system, please check out my 4-module course on immunity right here. Thank you.